What's up, dudes? What's going on, YouTube? Welcome to another episode of Grinding Ears, episode 2. In my last video, I was kind of, I guess you could say, I was kind of hating on Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, and maybe I was a little bit unfair towards the game. And to be fair, this was actually pointed out to me by someone in the comments. I'll link you to the video. It'll be in the description. You can tell me what you think about the video itself, and if I was being unfair, and if the guy was actually right. Or at least it's probably a guy. I don't know. Still, either way, on to what this video is really going to be about, Marvel vs. Capcom. My general thoughts about it. It's not going to be a hate video or anything like that. It's just my obvious thoughts about them. So since then, I've been, well, and before as well, I've been playing the game a lot more. The demo that we have, I've been searching up a couple of videos to see what the general consensus is about the video. And to be fair, that there's a lot of hate on the video game itself, going from the character selection all the way up to the graphics itself and anything in between, with it just being a 2v2 as opposed to 3v3, which I stated in my previous video as well. While I do like the mechanics in the game, there's a lot of really cool new things that they bring in for this game as well. Even with that, I'm not overly hyped about Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, but it does have some interesting concepts. I mean, one of the main things that did interest me from the get-go was that the tag system was there. It was the 2v2, which reminded me a lot of Street Fighter Cross Tekken, which, to be fair, there was a lot of things wrong with, but overall, the game mechanics itself were actually really well implemented. This kind of reminds me of having Mortal Kombat versus DC, and then finally getting Injustice and Mortal Kombat 9, where, like, a lot of the combo mechanics that you have in Mortal Kombat versus DC made its way into Injustice and Mortal Kombat 9. So, kind of, I guess you could say, a crap game, give or take your viewpoint, making really good games. And I enjoyed Street Fighter Cross Tekken. I thought it was quite good. There's a lot of things wrong with it. Like, I didn't really like the gem system in that. But overall, the tag system itself was really useful. Like, in that game, to tag, you would have to connect off of an actual physical hit, whether they blocked it or not, and then you spend the meter to bring in your second character and go in for the mix-up or whatever you're looking to do. Or if you're in the middle of a combo, you exchange the character that way and continue the combo that way. And it was really cool. It was really well implemented, but just the gameplay itself just kind of wasn't all that exciting. And Street Fighter 4 was really good. And Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 as well, around those times when that game was really popular. It just didn't, it came out at the wrong time, basically. And you had to really manage your meter a lot more in that, because there's only 3 bars of meter. Whereas in Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, you can literally just tag in pretty much, from what I've seen, at any given moment. Like, you stand there, you tag. You press a button, you tag. You are in the middle of a combo, you tag. Anywhere in this game, because it's not determined by your meter, you can just tag, and that sounds very, very interesting. While it seems really overpowered, and I think it is, the way they've decided to scale it, as opposed to damage scaling, they've decided to make it harder to actually continue combos the more you tag. So unless you're like tournament level, or maybe just like mid-tier kind of guy that plays it and he's really good, you're going to have a hard time creating those infinite loops with the tag system that they've generated. But obviously when the game comes out, we'll be able to see, because people are going to be in the lab seeing what's going on. But hopefully it is scaled in such a fashion regards to the closest of when you tag someone, because the idea is that the more you tag, the further away your second character comes into the game, as opposed to just scaling the damage itself, which I presume within the combo itself the damage is scaled, but we'll see. But hopefully the way that works, it'll work out to stop you getting an infinite loop of pain. Now, if you do happen to get caught into a combo, you can do a counter switch, which means you're in the middle of a combo and you're thinking, well, I'm just going to sit here and watch this guy beat me up one touch of death stuff, like it happened in Ultimate vs. Capcom 3. You can counter switch, and that uses 2 bars of meter. Now, what this does is brings your second character in to attack that person's point character, the one that's on the screen right now. The screen will automatically shift for the person who's attacking to automatically look at the second character. So it can work both ways. I mean, if someone knows or has the foresight to see, you know what, this is a situation, I'm gonna wait for them to bring the second character and continue my combo. That works out quite well. So it's a really weird, interesting risk reward situation, but it does use 2 bars of meter. And to be fair, that kind of sucks because you only get 4 bars of meter in this game, whereas in the majority of other Marvel vs. Capcom games, you get 5 bars of meter. And now your meter management in this game, where you don't need to use it for tag, but for defensive options, you have to think about it a lot more. So it has its risk reward things right there. Next part that I was thinking that's really, really good is the Infinity Stones. Admittedly, I think they've given me the most hype about this game because it reminds me of Grooves in Capcom vs. SNK 2, and I love that game. It's one of the games that really got me into Street Fighter in general, that in Street Fighter Third Strike. And that makes me happy. Well, to be fair, they don't function the same exact way Grooves did in Capcom vs. SNK and other SNK games themselves, because obviously Capcom vs. SNK is created by, well, by Capcom for the most part. This makes me happy that they've got the stones in that has a very useful mechanic rather than something that's just like, hey, we've got this in the game. It looks as though they mean something with the way they have the Infinity Stones, because you've got an extra move that comes through the Infinity Surge itself, which works like a special move. So like Ryu's Hadouken, you can do it Infinity Surge. So with the stones themselves, like I say, they give you the moves. So the Time Stone, actually, it gives you like a very short teleport, which is actually quite useful. Like a couple of steps on the screen where you can normally do a wave dash, you can teleport and go straight into a move, like do a move itself, teleport, do another move. You can create some really interesting mix-ups, especially with the tag system as well. If you teleport then tag, you can go straight into a natural mix-up. It works out well. So the timing of it means if they'll come out in front of you or behind you, it works out really well. And you've also got the Infinity Storm, which is like a hybrid combo. So one of those super cinematic special moves. That's what your Infinity Storm is. So pressing both the switch button and the actual Infinity Surge button, which I believe is the RB and L1 buttons. I just mixed up PlayStation and Xbox. RB, LB, L1, and R1. Those are your tag and Infinity Surge moves. And the more you do your Infinity Surge, or just general moves as well, will build up your meter to do the Infinity Storm. So like I said, with the time, you've got the teleport. When you do the Infinity Storm, you've then got your screen changes to the color of the stone near enough. And with the time, you get super fast. And if you guys ever use Jury in Street Fighter 4, you know that one of her special moves was being able to create your own combo effectively just by standing there and pressing buttons. And that's essentially what the Infinity Storm for time lets you do. And I've seen some things that are super crazy. Sadly, I haven't been able to get anything really good in the game that I've been playing so far, but that's because all the story characters just die really fast. But when we get into the lab, you can get something really crazy with those going on. The Power Stone, it gives you an attack itself as opposed to the teleport that gives you a wall bounce. And when you get the Storm, it amplifies your attacks from what I've seen at the very least, and the sound of it, you can hear them actually, it feels like you're hitting harder as well. So I think as well, you get some moves that actually give you a wall bounce where they don't really have it, but I'm not sure about that. It did seem that way, but we'll have a look once the game actually comes out, or maybe even a demo, hopefully, a gameplay demo more so than the story, comes out, say, around August time. The Space Stone, now, that's an interesting move. It pulls you in when you use it for the Infinity Surge, like Magneto's gravitational pull, which I think is quite useful. Hopefully, they do add something that lets you push people away as well. The Storm itself, right now, it just seems incredibly overpowered because it traps you in a box and you can't move. And from what I've seen, you can't seem to tag out of it either, which I guess makes sense because you're actually trapped in the box, but still, I don't like it. It seems like a really, really easy way to just trap someone, like, for lack of a better word, it just holds you there, and you have to deal with everyone's mix-ups. And if you've got a full bar of infinity power, you are in there for a very, very long time. I think it's one of those ones where if you've got a Morrigan and, say, Doctor Strange on the same team, you are going to be trapped in a very, very annoying keep away game. And if you can use Morrigan in a similar fashion the way you could in Marvel vs. Capcom 3, it's going to be a damn bitch. But that's what it is right now. Who knows? Maybe we'll see what happens. The final stone that I've seen so far is the Reality Stone. Now that's an actual projectile. It fades away. It goes on for quite a while. It's similar to one of Doctor Doom's specials, where it has the big fiery ball and it tracks you down. And although that one doesn't disappear, but this one does, and it's quite good. I like it. The Infinity Storm itself, for it, it's okay. I think it's one of those ones that you use. It seems more like the X factor of this game as opposed to an actual in-game use. But it does look nice. I mean, it gives you, when you do the storm, if you press the light punch button, you get like wind shots that come out just like repeatedly. Very similar to how Dark Phoenix's light punches happen when it happens in Ultimate vs. Capcom 3. And when you do the heavy punch, you get like a fire projectile across the screen. It's called a fire dragon, apparently, which is pretty cool. And then your light kick has ice sliding along the floor that'll actually freeze you. And then your heavy kick gives you a vertical lightning strike. I think it tracks from what I've seen, but we'll see. I mean, I like the stones. I just can't wait to see what the other two do when they come out. It should be very, very good. Now, those are just a few of the mechanics that are in the game that I've seen so far. You've got the other ones, like you've got a new super jump that you can actually control. So normally you do a super jump, you go to a height, and then that's it. You go back down. This one, you can control the jump. When you super jump, you can go to the full height of the jump, or you can bring it down instantly for like a very short hop jump. Or if you're going up and you see something that's going to happen, you can instantly bring it down like halfway through. You are in complete control of that jump. And you've also got the new Advancing Guard, where Advancing Guard in Ultimate Marvel was literally just pushing away physical attacks, getting people away from you, creating some space. Whereas now, you can actually do it against projectiles as well. Well, the majority, I think, of projectiles you can do it against, and it'll direct the projectile back at them. So a lot of full screen ones, so Ryu's Hadouken, you can do it against. You can do it against the Reality Stone's Infinity Surge projectile. It's a ball. You can bring it back. So I think most singular projectiles, not necessarily beam projectiles, you can project back at the attacker. So I think those are some really good mechanics that they've got that can ideally create some hype in this game. Now, even though it's only 2 versus 2, upon playing more of the game and with all of the mechanics, the hype can definitely be there. Like I just said, I think it's something that you've got. It seems to be on the surface. You've got a lot of crazy things going on. So despite having one less character, you've got your Infinity Gem that's going to effectively be your assist. And now you've just got a Street Fighter Cross Tekken gameplay that was good, and now it's just been heavily improved on with the way the attack system works and having all these extra mechanics in the game that should help this gameplay get hype. And then when you've got your casual players, they can just go in and have fun with the character that they want to use. You've got your mid people. I think I'm probably a mid-tier person that like gets into the game more so than the casual, but isn't quite a tournament player. You can find some really interesting stuff on that level, and then when you get tournament level, there are so many things in this game that you can find beneath the surface. I think it's going to be incredibly layered when the game comes out. Everything seems on the surface, but then you find this mechanic that works with that character and find something else that works with this character. I think that's where this game is going to shine. Where the gameplay itself, it's very different to 2 and 3. Probably more similar to 2 with the hyperaction of 3. It is very different, but yet it still feels like home. It's crazy, and that's what all the Marvel games have been. Crazy and fun and hype. it seems like it's going to be a fun game, and I can't ever deny that at all. From the time I've spent with the game myself and the videos I've seen, you can create crazy, immense combos, and that's what it's all about. If you think about it, you can probably do it. If you think it, you can probably do it. And if you can't, there's probably something else that'll be in place of what you thought, where you can probably harness that power from. To be honest, I can't wait to get the game and get in the lab and practice, because it's going to be good. The story itself, it's a nice touch for a Marvel vs. Capcom game. Personally, I think it should be interesting, but based on the demo, it left me wanting more. A lot more. It felt a little too cheesy, and saying that for, I guess you could say, a comic is probably a little weird, but given what Marvel has been doing movie-wise and comic-wise, they know how to not do cheese. And when you've just come off of playing Injustice, which I just did, and I did a review of it, which I'll link in the video as well, it feels forced, some of the interactions that you've got, like with Dante and Rocket Raccoon, Captain America, and X. It just feels a little forced. But, to be fair, I still do have hopes it'll be a better story than Street Fighter 5. Because that was not that interesting. That also just felt like, what are you doing? But still, Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, I'm going to get it regardless of what anyone says about the game itself. I think it's going to be amazing. At least gameplay-wise, there's going to be a lot of stuff going on. Please tell me what you guys think in the comment section below. If you can leave a like, subscribe, hit that notification, that'd be amazing. I'll see you next time on Grinding Gears. Peace.
Then let's not keep them waiting. Heroes, move out!